All right, what is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. I know right now I'm having a surplus of videos uploaded as of the past couple days, and in the upcoming week, like I said, I will be having a lot of draft content. Player rankings are coming. Um, my own personal mock draft is coming. Players that I like, and just a fantasy fun mock draft, as well as like I said, player rankings. Um, and this is just my second and third round mock draft following my first round mock draft that I dropped on, I believe was Thursday. This is the second and third round mock draft following that first round. If you haven't watched it, click the link, in the description, or click on my previous videos. But I will be picking up where I left off at pick 33 with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going to kick it off real quick. I took Trevor Lawrence and Asante Samuel in the first round. I think those are two really good value picks. And now, as you can see, needs are tackle and tight end. I think tight end at the top of this list, there's only two really good guys that are going to start. And I think Pat Freiermuth is the guy. Even though you want to stick with a guy, Brevin Jordan, who's in the Florida area, I just think now with talent, where talent at tackle is, Mayfield, Redunes, Leatherwood is the only real guy, and Walker Little that have really proven themselves. I'm a big believer in James Hudson out of Cincinnati, but I just feel like he's a little raw to be taken into the second round. I would wait until the early third. So that's why right now I'm going to be taking Pat Freiermuth, best tight end on the board, and it's a big need. And honestly, corner is a big need in New York. I took two playmakers, Trevor Lawrence and did the Jacks take him? Oh, I took Justin Fields and Rondale Moore. So now you're thinking, maybe they need a defensive playmaker. I think I would just go to offensive line. And like I said, I know the talent pool at offensive tackle isn't solid at 34, but I'm going to take Alex Leatherwood. He's been proven to do it for 4 years, and he's just the most consistent tackle. The thing is, he's not really exceptional in every area, but he's just good at everything. And now we're going to look at edge, a team that is in dire need of edge rush. Joseph Osai and Jason Owe are two really good top board prospects. But I just think that those two guys are guys that are going to end up like a Vic Beasley, a guy that really twitchy, really athletic, but he can't convert speed to power. And that's a problem in today's day and age where, it's nice to have speed, but if you can't convert it to power on a pass rush, on a pass rushing down, then there's nothing for you that you could do with that. So those two guys, they are good. They are great. They have all pro potential. But I'm going to go with the guy that did opt out, does have a lot of hype. And what I've been reading and listening to on other podcasts and other YouTube videos and other articles is that Joe Tryon, who was going to be my pick, has added about 10 pounds in weight and has gotten, what I've heard is significantly stronger. He was already an athletically twitched up, edge rusher, but now sitting at about 6'4", 255 pounds, where he was originally just under 240 in that area just 2 years ago. I think Joe Tryon is a low floor, super high ceiling guy, super athletic, very raw. But if you can teach him up, coach him up, and teach him certain tendencies where he could use his speed and his power, he could be, a Pro Bowl player for a decade easily in this league. Joe Tryon out of Washington, edge rusher. Now, you look at the Miami Dolphins and you're just like, okay, I took a receiver, Rashad Bateman, who I believe is going to be the next Devontae Adams. I took an offensive tackle, Penei Sewell. So now I'm going to just look at my board and say, what's here? And, running back, you're like, oh, running back's a big need. I like their running back room. I like Salvon Ahmed and Miles Gaskins, not just because they're from Washington and I've watched every single game they've played, but because they've also got a good rotation of Raheem Mostert. I'm not Raheem Mostert, Matt Breida if he's healthy. And then, You got Jordan Howard, of course, and I think that they could really get something going with the rotation. So I'm just going to take Xavier Collins. It pained me not to take him in the first, but there was just a late run of linebackers and edge rushers, and Xavier Collins I don't think fit any of their schemes. And I know you have, Xavier Collins is just another Kyle Vinoy, but when you have a team like this and you need as many Kyle Vinoys as you can, you can get, then yeah, you'll take another one. And if you guys don't know, Kyle Van Noy is a former Patriot, now a Dolphin. He's this edge hybrid off-ball linebacker, 6'5", about 255. Xavier Collins is 6'4", 260, a lot bigger and a different body type, but he moves so fluid in his pass rush and even in space and in coverage that he's a guy that I would not mock out of the first round ever again. But there was just a run on linebacker scheme specific, and a rush and a run on edge rushers scheme specific. So that's why Xavier Collins falls to number 36 to the Dolphins. And number 37, the Philadelphia Eagles need as many playmakers as they can. So they are going to take Elijah Moore. I'm not the biggest fan of Elijah Moore. A little smaller than what I expected, but what I've heard and what I've been reading is that he is one of the few quote unquote undersized receivers in coming out that could play outside and create separation. And I will have to watch more film, but what I've seen on a couple clips that I've seen just around on Instagram and Twitter is that he's really good right off the line. And I think you just need a guy that creates separation. You have a big body guy that could go over the middle in Kyle Pitts, and now you draft a guy who's an outside receiver that can separate with Elijah Moore. I think Philly can make a run at the NFC East if they hit on these two picks alone. Number 38, the Cincinnati Bengals. I don't think they're in dire need of offensive tackle help, even though they don't have the best offensive line in the game. But, there's just certain places on certain teams where you just like, okay, offensive line, yes, we just drafted a quarterback, and yes, he just got hurt in the second half of the season with the 20 ACL. Yes, we don't want to make that mistake happen again. But you're not going to change that by drafting a tackle in the second round. It's just not going to happen. So I think you just keep going playmaker. I do think corner is a big, big need. I'm looking down the line, and Shaun Wade is sitting there. A lot of people hated his two playoff game film. I don't remember what specifically bowl games they were, but it was the two games to get into the championship game, and he just got obliterated in both games. But honestly, if he came out last year, he probably would have been a top 20 pick easily. Yes, he only plays in the slot. Yes, when he was outside, he got exposed, but nickel corner and slot corner is becoming an every down position. So if you could draft a top 5, even top 10, top 5, starting slot corner in the league at 38th overall, I would do that 10 times out of 10. Shaun Wade out of Ohio State. You need another corner. William Jackson, we'll see what he does. He had a good year 2 years ago, but aside from that, we've yet to see anything. And right now, it's just next best tackle. And in my opinion, it's Walker Little. I know he's 143rd ranked, but Walker Little, I've been, buzzing around Walker Little. Walker Little has been this, in the offensive tackle talk for the past 3 years, being in the first round, tore his ACL, being in the first round again the next year after that, tore his ACL, and then didn't play this year. And he's still, in that he could range from second to 7 rounds. That's what I've seen in many mock drafts. People have him, as early as 34, 35, 36, and people have him falling to the early 7th round. And I'm just like, I don't really see that happening. I feel like a team's going to really fall in love with this guy in the pro day process, and someone's going to take Walker Little, and I think that's going to be the Panthers. And for the Denver Broncos, you don't know what's going to happen with Von Miller. Bradley Chubb is actually on the back end of his rookie contract. And right now, you just need some speed. So I'm going to take Joseph Ossai out of Texas. This is a guy, yes, I'm very high on, but yes, I do talk bad about him because he does not convert speed to power. And if you can't do that at an edge position in today's NFL, you will not be earning a second contract in this league. And I know that the Detroit Lions are up, and I know that they said that corner is a need on the board. But when I look at their corner room, actually, it's not too bad. They have Amani Oyuwari, who I'm really high on, Justin Coleman in the slot, and you just drafted Jeff Okudah third overall. I think you have a really good, base defense nickel with outside guys with Jeff Okudah and Amani Oyuwari. And Justin Coleman in the slot or the nickel. So I am not going to draft a corner. What I am going to do is just best player on the board. And I know that Naji Harris is there, Etienne, Mayfield, Williams, Newsom. But I am going to take actually a safety right here. I know it sounds weird. And I know the safety core is young, but it's good. And I think that right now, my safeties are all bundled up, and I got to pay for that. I don't like Richie Grant and Trayvon Moehrig as top, 40 picks. This is me just as a coach or a GM. But right here at 41, I would take Hamsah Nasruddin. If you guys don't know who he is or how big he is a 6'4". I think he's 6'4", and about 220 pounds. He weighed in at 213 at the Senior Bowl, but I think he could actually round out to be about 225. And I think he could play linebacker. He could play box safety, free single high safety. I would not trust him at cover 1 or cover 3 single high safety yet, but he's definitely immediately in the box coming in day one. And if you could bring a guy with that much versatility onto your field, easily, without a question, I'm bringing him 41 overall to Detroit, who is in dire need of defensive playmaker. Hamsah Nasruddin, yes, over Richie Grant, Trayvon Moehrig, and Javon Holland, and Ardarius Washington. But that's just me. I feel like he fits such a need, and he's such a movable player. And now we're coming to New York, and quarterback is so tempting to me. But Daniel Jones is in this position where he showed what he could do, but he's also showed how bad he is at quarterback, and it's just so hard. You stick with this guy because you've got 3 more years left with him if you want to extend the contract. But by the 3rd year, your quarterback has to step up. And if he doesn't step up this year, definitely they are moving off of him next year. And, that's just something that they need to do. I will not, address quarterback, but I will address pass rusher. Carlos Basham out of Wake Forest. He's about 285 pounds right now, I believe. 281 at about 6'3", 6'4", really big, but really versatile. Plays nose, plays 3 tech, plays 4 tech inside a tackle, rushes off the edge at 5 tech. He's just really good at what he does. And the only thing is he's just not exceptionally explosive, but he is a very fluid athlete. Carlos Basham, Wake Forest. And I know I took a tackle, guard, flexibility, but he's going to play tackle at the next level. But I know there are such big needs in corner, interior line, and edge. I don't think drafting a quarterback here would be a good pick. But I'm just looking down the board, and I think corner is a big need. A high riser is Greg Newsome. Aaron Robinson's actually a safety, in my opinion. They list him at corner. Let me just go to the corner tab. But right here, I think they could use a really versatile corner. Elijah Molden, they need somebody who could play safety, single high, who could come in the box, who could come in the nickel. Elijah Molden, such a versatile playmaker. You just cannot pass on a guy anymore. You cannot pass on a guy that is so good. Like I said earlier in my big board video, he's a top 5 covered defensive back in this league. Coming into the draft, he's just so good at coverage. But like he plays in of course a Pac-12 where the defense always stands out. But he's a guy that has been slept on for the past 2 years. And I've been watching Elijah Molden since he was a freshman, when he was getting rotation snaps in, to when he was a sophomore, snagging interceptions in the red zone, all the way to now through when he's a senior and having, a phenomenal senior year. And I think Elijah Molden is, this next up hybrid kind of corner safety guy that's going to come in at the nickel and then that's going to play single high. He's really good, really versatile. I like him a lot. Number 44, the Cowboys are up. Offensive tackle, as much as I don't think Tyron Smith is going to come back, and as much as I think Leo Collins is not worth extending, I will not take a tackle. I'm just going to go next best player. It's not running back. It's not quarterback. Like I said, I'm not going to take a tackle. Next best player for me is Jayson Oweh out of Penn State. And I think he's really good. He can make a really good impact. And I think that he's going to make, a lot of money in this Dallas Cowboys defensive scheme. And then the Jags, I've passed on, tackle again. I won't do it again. Jaylen Mayfield, next best tackle out of Michigan, comes off the board. And then right here, tight end, you just have to take a shot. You have to take next best tight end, and that's Brevin Jordan. I know he's only ranked 80 on the predictive board, but he's got to go here. You just need a playmaker at tight end, and you're not going to get it out of Tommy Tremble, Hunter Long, Kenny Yeboah, Kyle Granson, Trey McKitty, Pro Wells, Miller Fortestal, and Nick Eubanks. You're just not going to get it out of any of these guys. This is probably the worst tight end draft class I've ever seen. So many guys have stayed in college because of this horrible tight end group. I probably won't take another tight end in this draft. I would not take a tight end after Brevin Jordan until like the 5th or 6th round. Like at that point, you're just shooting darts. So now here we are here, interior offensive line is a big need. Wyatt Davis, just next best interior offensive line. And I know that, you just drafted, a guy, Micah Parsons, who is, so good at off-ball linebacker, so good in space, but he's a true pass rusher at heart. And I do not doubt that for a second. But I would like to see him play off ball a little more. So I'm going to take a pure pass rusher, Hamilcar Rashid Jr., about 6'3", 6'4", 250 pounds. Really good, really long dude. He's got really long arms, legs, super linky, super twitched up, super fluid. Falls to 48 here. Realistically, probably be taking top 40, maybe top 45 in about this range. Really good, really fluid, just a little bit older at 23 coming in, so he has to play good now. And I passed on corner enough. I'm actually a big Greg Newsome fan. As you could tell, he's got great size. I thought he was going to measure in at about 6'2", 200, only 6'1", 190. I was kind of pushed away. I thought he was going to be this bully outside left cornerback where he's just going to shut down that side of the field. But it's just next best corner. I think Greg Newsome fits, this Arizona defensive scheme, and I think that they could really, use some rookie help. And right here, it's just next best player, and this is Naji Harris. ETN was my favorite running back coming into this year. Naji Harris is my favorite running back at the end of the year. He's just literally every single year from his sophomore, junior, and senior year, he's improved on the thing that every NFL scout has knocked him. They knocked him for his lack of straight line speed and fluidity going into his junior year. He fixed that. His junior year, really fluid athlete, hurdling over guys, sidestepping, spinning, juking, running through guys, running by guys. And then going into his senior year, he can't catch. Well, as you could tell, if you've never seen his highlight reel, he can catch pretty well, and he is a big target for any quarterback, especially his former quarterback from college, Tua Tagovailoa. We will see what happens with the Fitzmagic situation. But Naji Harris here, 50 overall. It's just next best player. And Washington now comes to the board. You're in dire need of quarterback. Yes. I will answer your call. At pick 51, Mac Jones comes off the board finally. I do not see him going in the first round at all. If you do, you are a fool when you could snag him at the back end or in the middle of the second round, like you could see here. Why not just take him, quarterback comp, battle, and let's just go get it. And all of a sudden, you jump ahead and the Bears don't have a quarterback. So now it's just next best player. David Montgomery really showed up this year. You know, Tariq Cohen, I still believe he's got that juice. I would love to grab ETN here, but right now I think it's just next best player. Dylan Ray Dunes, small school guy, middle of the second round tackle. You know, if you lose, you lose. If you win, great. And then now the Tennessee Titans, I still believe their defense is a big worry. And I have no idea why a guy like Marvin Wilson keeps falling. Yes, he did not have a good year. He should have declared last year. He would have been a top 15 pick. But now he falls to the 53rd pick. He's just good at everything. Yes, he didn't show up in film, but this was an odd year for everybody. There's no excuses, yes, but this is just an odd year for everybody. And you know, it's just gotta hunker down and just hope you get 2019 Marvin Wilson. And now the tackle position gets a little thin. There is an interior offensive lineman that does play tackle. I will take him here, and that is Trey Smith. He has great guard tackle flexibility. He played tackle at Tennessee until this recent year where he switched inside to guard, which I don't like him at. I love him at tackle. And I think, you know, yes, it says interior offensive line, but he's going to play left tackle for the Colts. And now is when Travis Etienne comes off the board. It's just they just need speed at running back. James Conner, Jaylen Samuels. I'm a big fan of Jaylen Samuels, a fullback, tight end, running back hybrid. But you just need speed, and Etienne falls right into your lap. And right here, my Seattle Seahawks. This is my team, my pick. Do we need offensive tackle? I don't. I thought Brandon Shell played a lot better than I thought. Dwayne Brown, we'll see if he comes back. Upati retires. You know, I did like Ethan Posick. He stepped up big time. Damian Lewis, I'm the biggest fan of Damian Lewis. That was my favorite pick in the whole draft, aside from the Daryl Taylor, who I was a big fan of. People thought he was overdrafted. I thought in the second round is good value for him. He was on IR all year. You know, but let me just look at edge, Ronnie Perkins. A lot of people are rising on Ronnie Perkins. Dayo Adeyinigbo, a really big dude, but he just doesn't fit the scheme. Quincy Roche, Jordan Smith, those guys are guys that I would love to pick. Let me just look at tackle. James Hudson. James Hudson and Jackson Carman seem like Seattle picks. But the last time Seattle took an offensive lineman in the second round, he wasn't a full-time starter until his last year in his contract. Let's see. Interior O-line. I think we just love these two guys, Creed Humphrey and Landon Dickerson. I would take Creed Humphrey because Landon Dickerson did not. Landon Dickerson has the torn ACL. Seattle with Creed Humphrey, that's a steal at 56 overall. Immediate starter. He'll plug and play at center or left guard, depending on if we sign Ethan Posick. And I'm pretty happy about that pick. And the Rams need offensive tackle help. I feel like Jackson Carman is a Ram at heart. Adrian Ely as well. But I think, I'm a really big fan of James Hudson. But I think we got to take a linebacker. Dylan Moses has fallen far enough. As much as I'd hate to play him twice a year, I think that they're going to snag him up and make him a starter. And, of course, the Ravens are up. They love their tight ends, but there's not a tight end worth taking. And these receivers are really good. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Tutu Atwell, Dwayne Eskridge, Nico Collins. I said Nico Collins could be the next big thing because he had such limited, passing plays and reps at Michigan because of their offense. Like, he never really blew up on the stat sheet. Would you reach here and take him in the second round? No. I would just take next best playmaker. I know you just drafted a guy last year, J.K. Dobbins, so I would take Trayvon Moehrig here, just next best positional player. And then corner, I would take Eric Stokes. Sorry, no deep dive. Not the biggest fan of Stokes or his teammate Tyson Campbell, but those guys are all really bunched together in this really just solid, ranking. Trayvon Moehrig, big fan at TCU. He's got really good size. I thought he was going to be about 5'11", 195 pounds. Weighed in at 6'1", 208, so that's great size. Would not take him in the first though. And number 60, biggest need is corner. Keep this kid in the South. Aaron Robinson out of UCF. Good value pick here at the back end of the second half. A little smaller than I anticipated, but he can definitely come into play slot right away. And number 61, the Buffalo Bills. When you look at offensive tackle, big drop off in talent. James Hudson, love him. And then when you look at edge, big drop off in talent. I like Ronnie Perkins. He's rising a little too fast for me. I think he's a little hyped. But aside from that, I would take a playmaker. Is Javonte Williams the bigger one? Yes, I'll take Javonte Williams. He is the bigger back. Yes, I know you drafted 2 running backs back-to-back drafts in the second and third round with Devin Singletary and Zach Moss. But those 2 guys are a little more similar than we thought. I thought Zach Moss was going to come in at about 220 pounds. Only came in at 208 pounds or 212 pounds, I think, at the end of the season. So you need a big back, goal line guy. Javonte Williams. I keep saying Javonte Carter. Javonte Williams, really big, sturdy, solid, thick running back from NC. So, it's just, can he translate into the NFL? And at pick 62, I know I didn't take a receiver, which is dire need for them. But then when I look down this list, I'm looking at guys, who can make plays? Nico Collins, big receiver. They already have one. Tutu Atwell, undersized receiver. He will not get a lot of looks from Aaron Rodgers. I can immediately tell. Dwayne Eskridge, really small as well, but a little bit better in separation. Monroe St. Brown, high talented, high praised name that's going around a lot right now, but I'm just not the biggest fan of him. I will take Tylan Wallace out of Oklahoma State. I thought he was going to measure a little bit bigger, more of about 6'1", 200, only weighed in at 5'11", 193, but that is not a problem for me. I think he can create separation on the outside and in the slot, and that's something that they need definitely. The Packers do if they want to make a Super Bowl run. And it's just next best interior offensive lineman. The Chiefs take Landon Dickerson. Not much to say. It's just next best offensive lineman. Ronnie Perkins comes off the board. I think he's a senior. Oh, he's only a junior. Definitely a great pick. He definitely has 2 or 3 years to really develop when Jason Pierre-Paul and Shaquille Barrett, get out of their contracts or retire, because Shaquille Barrett's a little older than people think. A great pass rusher. He's turning 29, and Jason Pierre-Paul's turning 33. These guys aren't getting any younger, but they definitely have proven to get better with age. But Ronnie Perkins, next best pass rusher to finish off the second round. And to kickstart our third round, the Jags are back on the board, and they're just going to take the next best player. Load, please. And it's Richie Grant at UCF. Keep that kid in Florida. He has pretty good size, but he's probably going to end up playing nickel on their base defense. And now the Jets can lunge at whoever they want here. They've taken 2 playmakers at receiver, and they've taken a quarterback already. So all you really need is defense. One position that I think they really lack is that off-ball edge guy. And I think Quincy Roche could be that guy for them. Redshirt senior, 6'3", 240. Oh, did I click on it on accident? Whoops, did not mean to do that. Quincy Roche, he has off-ball ability. I think he's really fluid in coverage or in space, but we'll see how well the Jets can develop him. I know they run a base 3-4, so he's going to be rushing off the edge as a 3-4 linebacker. But I think he could drop off into coverage, into a little flat, into a little hook curl. I think he could do okay. And the Texans have their first pick. And, when I'm looking at the board, the next best player is a linebacker who I'm not even a big fan of, Baron Browning at Ohio State. Don't get me wrong, good guy, but we'll not take him in the third round. Really big upside. But right now, I think your biggest need is offensive line. Let's see who's here at interior line, because I know the interior line is doing a lot better than the tackles, in my opinion. Josh Myers at Ohio State. I think I'll take Ben Cleveland. No, who am I kidding? I'll take next best tackle, my boy James Hudson. I know that they just traded for Laramie Tunsil and Austin Howard, but I think James Hudson has guard flexibility, especially with that size at 6'4", 302. He can definitely play right guard for them, who is a really, really big need, or left guard. But or like if one of those guys go down, like Austin Howard, I believe missed a few games last year. Definitely can plug and play and be better than a backup. I think you have to take tackle. Yeah, I think you have to take offensive line talent at this point. James Hudson's the next best guy, and then linebacker Chaz Serrat. A lot of people are very high on this guy because he's smart. I'm very high on him because he's very fluid as an athlete. Don't really care for the smarts. You know, you've got to be smart to play football anyways. So that doesn't really wow me just because he used to play quarterback. But what wows me is his toughness and his fluidity at the linebacker position that he played at North Carolina. It's more of a Mike, more downhill guy. And only like you saw his weight, but only about 227 pounds and 6 foot. He's not the biggest, stockiest dude in the world. So when he could come downhill and tackle somebody as a transition to quarterback to linebacker, that just proves to me something. I know they drafted a linebacker that I liked a lot, Michael Walker out of Fresno State in the 4th round last year, who was a starter in every game, I think. He's really good, but I think he's an undersized edge rusher, and Chaz Surratt is more of that traditional linebacker. And, big need is offensive line. So I'll just take next best interior. That's Josh Myers at Ohio State. I'm not the biggest fan of evaluating offensive line because offensive line film watching is super long and super tedious and super inconsistent. Not as bad as running back where you could draft a 7th rounder in Chris Carson and he'll be 1,000-yard back in back-to-back years in his rookie contract. No, it's not that hard and it's not that inconsistent, but it's just a little tedious, a little hard to watch, especially when, these guys are going up against, pass rushers that are going to be going undrafted, and that might never, ever touch a practice field in the NFL. It's just hard. It's just hard to evaluate because they'll get beat by guys that are going in the 6th, 7th round, and then they'll just lock up a stud top 3 pick for a game. And you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. They just let this 6'1", 230-pound defensive end past you, but they didn't allow the number 2 overall pick in Chase Young by them all game long a year ago. It's just hard to evaluate. We'll see what's up with Josh Myers. I think he's really good, great value. At this point, you're just taking what's on the board. And number 70 overall in the 3rd round, quarterback, would not take a quarterback. You need to see what Jalen Hurts can do. He's still on a rookie contract. Right now, I would just take next best thing, and that is Davion Nixon out of Iowa. Not the biggest fan. He was a big riser. A lot of people have him going top 50. But Davion Nixon, just a solid size, inside the shade, 2-tech, 3-tech defensive lineman. Really good, has a good anchor. I would just like to see a little more athleticism. And then number 71, Jabril Cox falls enough. He just looks like a Denver Bronco. 6'3", 235, really long arms for the linebacker position. And I think that, he could really make an impact in that defense if they have a good pass rush guard. And now we are with the Detroit Lions again. We've already taken Jalen Waddle. I took one receiver, just scratched it out twice. Jalen Waddle and Richie Grant. I have to check on those picks again. I'm losing track. But, corner is a big need. I don't think corner is a big need. I don't think so. So I'm just going to go next best positional player. I don't want to take another safety. Oh, Kelvin Joseph is a huge riser, though. People think, I keep clicking on their profiles. Sorry, guys. I'm doing a spitball draft. Kelvin Joseph is a really high riser. I think he has – like I said, I didn't want to take a corner, but Amani Oyuori hasn't stayed healthy. Neither has Coleman or Jeff Okudah. But when those 3 guys are in, they're a pretty solid cornerback group. But when they're not, when they're missing one, and especially 2 like they were all season, they definitely need some help from a guy like Kelvin Joseph who can play outside and inside. And just like that, another corner will come off the board. It's just next best. And Ifeatu Melifonwu, I feel like he fits the scheme. He's a really big corner if you guys don't know. He's about 6'2", 212. I thought he was going to measure at about 6'4". A little shorter than I thought, but that's not a problem. 212 pounds, big corner, could play nickel DB, could play linebacker. But he's just really physical. Obi Melifonu's brother, who I was a big fan of a couple years ago. Really athletic, just like his brother. And then here, I will actually take a corner, Paulson Adebo out of Stanford, who had first round hype around him 2 years ago, coming out, would have been a junior. A little smaller than I like. I thought he was about 6'2", 200. He's only 6'1", 190. Long arm still. He was getting beat though. His junior year, he was getting beat all day long, every single game in and game out. And hopefully you see 2018 Paulson Adebo and not 2019, 2020 Paulson Adebo. And right now it's just next best offensive lineman. Let's scroll. I don't trust these guys' actual rankings. Whoever does these rankings, I need to talk to them. They are not the best thing. Spencer Brown's a big riser. He's that kid out of Northern Iowa. We're the same age. He's older than me. He's that guy out of Northern Iowa that you might see on Instagram. He's like, Coach, if I play D3, they'll never see me. No, they saw you, buddy. You're big. But I am a big fan of Deontay Brown. He is really big and stout, but I think you could kick Connor Williams back outside of tackle if you really need to. Deontay Brown, really solid anchor. And now the New York Jets are up, and I just think you need playmaker. Nico Collins has been sitting here pretty long, but I think I would rather reach on a quote-unquote reach on a guy like Seth Williams, who had a lot of, potential first-round hype at the beginning of the season. A 6'2", 220-pound receiver who looks a lot like Julio Jones. I'm not going to lie. So if you could snag, Devontae Smith in the first and Seth Williams in the third, I think you can let go of a couple guys on that team, Golden Tate and Sterling Shepard. These two guys are going to come in and do an immediate better job than them coming in. Both of these guys are high floor guys, but the only thing that keeps Seth Williams out of that first round conversation is the potential of a low ceiling, and that's not what you want out of a first or second round draft pick. And the Los Angeles, are they still Los Angeles Chargers? I don't even know anymore. I think you could take another big body receiver. Nico Collins has been sitting here pretty long, 6'4", 215-pound receiver. Best is yet to come, in my opinion. We'll see how well he could do. Interior defensive line has not had a run, but I like Osai Odigizua. He could be the next type of hybrid interior pass rusher. Not going to compare him to Aaron Donald, but another undersized interior pass rusher with phenomenal athleticism, strength, and speed. Osai Odigizua. I need to get his name right. He'll probably end up going top 50 overall. But right now, I'm just doing team-specific needs. So he fills a need in the beginning of the third round. And number 79 overall, they're going to take a running back. I feel like they will fall in love with a very undersized running back. And I think they'll fall in love with Michael Carter, who's only about 5'8", 202 pounds. But he's a really thick running back too. You could definitely reminds me of Maurice Jones-Drew, just a really solid, really thick, short receiver running back that has great catching ability. And then now, it's just next best interior defensive lineman, and I actually think that's not Jay Tufele, but Marlon Tipilotu out of USC. These two guys could go back to back at any draft, but he's 6'2", 310-pound defensive tackle. Jay Tufele is more of a nose tackle, and Tupilotu is more of an inside the shade 2 technique defensive tackle. But I think that he's really good. He probably will go earlier than this in real life, but this is just me in the chair of every GM on the players available. And here we are sitting here looking at edge rusher. There's not a lot to love. Dayo Adenigbo, really good, really big, really long, high upside. below floor. Like you could definitely miss. Jordan Smith out of UAB is a really big dude, 6'6", 255. But I'm looking at Pittsburgh's Patrick Jones. A lot of people have him going at top 50. Realistically, I think he's a little too old school to really be that guy. If you guys don't know, Patrick Jones is a 6'5", 260-pound defensive end, really old school style defensive end. Just pure power, club, bull rush move, Michael Bennett type player. You have to definitely find a role for him. And I think Miami could have a really big role for him, playing as an interior pass rusher on third downs. And Washington, offensive tackle, it's just next best thing. I'm actually a big fan of Adrian Ely, and I think they'll take him here, 82nd overall. Really, solid tackle, long, nice anchor in the pass game. I just think that you'll risk it. You'll risk on a guy like Adrian Ely here in the third round, definitely. But, it's just shoot and miss at Carman and Brown and Smith and Hainsey and all these other guys. It's just shooting miss at this point. Do you take a quarterback in the third round if you're the Bears? Heck no. I just can't see it. But a guy that I think they'll take, even though they do have a guy very much like him in Darnell Mooney, I would take Shatarius Atwell, also known as Tutu Atwell. Really, really small, but really fast and fluid athlete. Track guy. He can get the job done. Here, you take a shot at in the dark at corner. Tyson Campbell is the next best quote-unquote guy. He's probably going to go by the 60th overall pick in real life. But I just don't like Campbell and Eric Stokes' film. Campbell's a really tall, long, skinny corner. Reminds me of Trey Waynes. Is it Trey Waynes? The guy that used to play for Minnesota, really tall, long guy, 6'1". He's like 185 pounds as well. Really skinny, just never transitioned into the NFL. But Tyson Campbell, might as well take a shot in the dark. Not really the dark, but, take a good pick at a good value here. And I think they're in dire need of corner. People have Benjamin St. Juste going all the way in the second round. Yes, he's a huge corner, 6'3". I think he'll weigh in at his pro day at about 210. He looks really solid right now. But I just don't think I could take a corner yet. I think you do need better playmaker at receiver. You need a guy, that, you already have your two physical receivers, Corey Davis and A.J. Brown. So you need something with a little more dazzle, a little more pizzazz. And I think Amari Rodgers working in the slot at 5'9.5", 211 pounds, built like – I keep clicking on our profiles. Built like a running back, had a phenomenal Senior Bowl week. Amari Rodgers definitely has called himself up into day two. He could go earlier as well as in the back end of the second half. But I think that he fills a definitely big need in slot receiver. And it's just next best corner. I think, and as much as I love Keith Taylor, he had a great Senior Bowl, I just think he's a little too light for my liking. Israel Mukamu, a monster corner, 6'3", 205. I keep clicking on the profiles. What's wrong with me? As you could tell. And I think they just need a big physical guy that's going to come in and compete for the number one corner spot. And definitely he could win it as a third round pick. They have Brian Poole, but I think he's still more of a nickel safety guy. Israel Mukamu at 6'3", 205. Oh, my back crack. Could definitely come in and have a Richard Sherman, don't quote me, Richard Sherman type of impact where he's just a big press physical corner that's going to lock down the side of the field. He's not going to have 8 picks in back-to-back years per se, but he's definitely going to be a guy that's so big and so strong, so physical that he's definitely the quarterback's going to look his way and then immediately turn to go read his other reads. Israel Mukamu, 86th overall, would be an absolute steal. Heath Taylor comes off the board. It's just next best corner. They just needed a tall, long, lanky corner. Like I said, he's really good. A little skinny for my liking at the corner position. Javon Holland, man, he's fallen far enough. But I've taken 2 defensive backs at this position. And I think it's just next best positional player. And don't like Baron Browning. I do like Pete Werner out of Ohio State. I know that he did get whooped by Devonte Smith, but he was covering him in a cover two scheme. So, of course, he's going to get whooped. Pete Werner, like him a lot, old school linebacker, really stout at the point of attack. And here it's just next best interior defensive line. Jay Tufele, he could play anywhere, 3-tech all the way to nose. I think he is a little too slow, in my opinion. Yes, he's a great space eater, but taking him here is good value for a player with low athletic upside. And now Javon Holland comes off the board. Sorry, buddy. I know, Javon, my bad. You're probably a lot of teams' number one corner or number one safety, but you are not mine. I love your film. I love the way he plays. It's just that, like, I just got a feeling he's not gonna pan out in the NFL. Right here, you just take a shot at the next best playmaker, Baron Browning at Ohio State, a nice downhill linebacker thumper. He has great upside. I think he's going to come in and he's going to compete with, oh my God, BJ Goodson and Sione Takitaki. I think Sione Takitaki had a pretty decent year, but Sione Takitaki is not the second rounder you hoped you got. And then here, we'll just double dip at playmaker. Let's get him a good receiver. Demetric Felton, really under. Whoa, they got him at 189 on here, man. Who did Demetric Felton pay to get on to put 189 on here? He's about 175 pounds. But I think Demetric Felton, super electric athlete. He's a receiver, but he does play running back. So he'll probably get on the field a little more on third down and play a lot of slot. I know I just drafted a receiver for the Packers, but I think it's just a need right now. And right here, you take a shot in the dark. Victor Dimiki. I like him a lot. Really stout at the point of attack. 6'2", 265. Great low center of gravity. I would take him here. He doesn't really fit the scheme, but he does apply pressure to guys who are coming towards the back end of their contracts. You draft a guy like him on the third round, and he shows up on practice day, you might be in trouble. Right here, it's just next best playmaker. Amon-Ra St. Brown comes off the board. Not the pick I wanted to do, but it's just next best player. Sage Serrat, you've been on the board long enough, buddy. Really, brother of, I think twin brother of, just drafted him. Oh my gosh, the other Serrat from North Carolina, the twin brothers, I think, and they are twins. Really pretty. I thought he was going to weigh in at about 6'4", 220. He's only 6'2 and a half, 215. Not bad size. Great pick. And then here it's just next best player. If I'm the if I'm the Patriots, it's just next best player, and it's Tommy Togai out of Ohio State. Not really the heaviest guy. These are one of the few times I wish a defensive lineman had more weight on him, because like if you could get him up to 230 at 6'2", he could just be an ultimate anchor in the run game. Something that the Patriots not in dire need of, but could definitely improve on. I'm just gonna go next best defensive back. Let me check my own rankings. Oh, brother, Paris Ford is falling. Andre Cisco, I know you just drafted Nestor Adderley 2 years ago, but Cisco is a guy that I like, a huge playmaker. He'll go a lot earlier than this, but it's just needs at this point. Andre Cisco, I thought he was going to be about 6'3", 205, about 6 foot, 203 pounds. I thought that he could have like that super long, lanky, safety, nickelback flexibility. 6 foot doesn't scare me away, but I was just hoping he was going to be in that 6'3", long, lanky press corner range. But Andre Cisco, nice need, nice pickup. Sad in my mock draft that he falls to 97. I would definitely take him top 50. If you saw my top 50 rankings, he was like my 30th ranked player or something. He was really high up there. And I do think you need a physical receiver. And Dyami Brown is that. I know he's only listed at about 6'1", 195, but plays like he's 6'5", 240 pounds. He just goes up, jump ball receiver. Dyami Brown is going to be a really, really special player in this league if he can definitely learn under a very good receiving coach and offensive coordinator. Jackson Carman, just next best tackle. In here, it's just next best playmaker. On here, I'll just go with the board. I already took a receiver. Dayo Denigbo. Oh, they're so tempting at 6'6". Definitely need edge help. I think is there any good corners? Oh yeah, Benjamin St. Juice. Sorry, guy. Definitely take him here. He's 6'3", 200-pound corner. Why not? Tennessee, all you really need is help on defense at this point, after this point in the draft. And it's just next best pick, I think, here for the Rams. Tackle, you do need help because of the situation with Andrew Whitworth, seeing where that's going to go. But I would not take a tackle in the third round. Dayo Adenigbo still here. Peyton Turner out of Houston. A lot of people have him also in that like Michael Bennett kind of like weird edge rush, interior pass rusher, rotational guy. But I will take Janarius Robinson, who is a top 50 prospect in my big board, who really impressed me as a junior and senior and in the Senior Bowl. He's about 6'6", 266 pounds. I said he reminds me a lot of Cliff Averill. If you guys don't know who that is, he was an anchor in our pass rush in that 2013 to 2017 run of a great defense, of an elite defense. And then Janarius Robinson, taking him here at the back end of the third would be phenomenal value. And it's just next best interior offensive lineman. I think that's Ben Cleveland. I think even though he is really big, I think he can play tackle. I think he could be on an island with your first or second best pass rusher at 6'6", 354 pounds. Really athletic for being 300 plus pounds. And the Rams are going to take another pick. Trey Hill, Kendrick Green, Sedarius Hutcherson, Drake Jackson, big faller. Let me see what some of these guys are. Derek Kerstetter out of Texas. I think he could play tackle. Whoa, 285. That's really undersized. I thought he would be about 320. Whoa, that guy carries 285 very well. But I think I will just take next best tackle. Alaric Jackson out of Iowa. Iowa football players are just really nasty and tenacious, and I think Alaric Jackson in the third round, not a bad reach, but good value. And here I'll just take a big body receiver. Dwayne Eskridge. No. Frank Darby. No. I've never heard of Frank Darby. I'm not going to lie. Daz Newsome. Is he the short guy? No. Des Fitzpatrick. I think I already clicked on him. Oh, I thought he was going to be a lot smaller than that. Wow. I thought he was only going to be about 5'11". Anthony Schwartz. Wow. Undersized, but would be a great value pick here. Oh, wow. Shi Smith. Oh, I would love to take Shi Smith here. I just need a big receiver. Whop Fillier. That's a funny name. My goodness. I cannot leave Jalen Darden out of this draft. I will take Jalen Darden. I know I said that I needed a big receiver, but Jalen Darden, I've been a fan for the past 2 years of Jalen Darden. Only 5'9", 170. But if you guys don't know who he is, look up Jalen Darden, North Texas highlights, and just watch an hour of highlights of him, and you will definitely fall in love like I did with this guy. I love small school guys. I'm actually going to do a top 10 small school prospects probably in the next week. But we'll see. And here, Cameron Mcgrone. I'm hearing that this guy could be a really, really elite off-ball linebacker, cover guy. Cameron Mcgrone out of Michigan. And just to recap the second and third rounds, I had the Jacksonville Jaguars take Pat Fryermuth, 33rd overall. Jets taking Alex Leatherwood out of Alabama, tackle. Atlanta taking Joe Tryon out of Washington, a pass rusher. Miami taking Xavier Collins, an off-ball hybrid linebacker out of Tulsa. The Eagles taking Elijah Moore, an undersized receiver who can create separation. Cincinnati Bengals, a top 5, potential slot corner coming into this league. Walker Little, an offensive tackle out of Stanford who has been hurt for the past 2 years, but is really good. Joseph Osai, a pass rusher with a lot of speed and twitchiness, just has to convert speed to power. Hamsah Nasruddin, a linebacker safety hybrid in my eyes that Detroit can use in every position on the field. Carlos Basham, a nice, movable chess piece on the defensive line. Elijah Molden, a monster in coverage and can play nickel, slot, and safety. Jason Owe, nice pass rusher out of Penn State. He's just next best pass rusher. Jaylen Mayfield to the Jags. It's just next best tackle. He was there. Brevin Jordan is just tight end. You just need a tight end. Get tight end. Brevin Jordan, super athletic. He's going to start day one. Wyatt Davis out of Ohio State, just the guard center flexibility that LA can use anywhere. And we're going to Las Vegas Raiders. Hamilcar Rashed, I'm a big fan of. I'm probably taking him a lot higher than other people do, but I see a lot of value in very different players. Greg Newsome, hoping he was a little bit bigger, but he fits a need and fills a need in Arizona. Number 50, luxury pick, Naji Harris, best running back, can catch, block, run. Just doesn't have elite top-end speed, but can definitely create separation once he gets in, hits a hole. Mac Jones, Washington, you wanted a quarterback, you got one. That's it. Dylan Radunes, next best tackle to the Bears. He looks like a Bear. Marvin Wilson to the Titans. I see him falling no farther than the second round. You hope you get 2019 Marvin Wilson. That's why you draft him here. 54th overall, Trey Smith, listed as an interior offensive lineman, but he played tackle at Tennessee for his first 3 years, and he will play tackle for the Indianapolis Colts. Pittsburgh needs speed in the backfield. ETN is that answer, and they have got it. Seattle Seahawks, Creed Humphrey. It's just next best offensive lineman on the board. I like Landon Dickerson a little more. ACL injury scares me away, but Creed Humphrey is the next best guy. Dylan Moses, I cannot have him falling out of my second round. Goes to LA, and my team, Seattle, will play him twice a year, which I hope that, we get the better of him those 2 times a year. Big fan of Dylan Moses. Trayvon Moehrig, I just cannot. I not the biggest fan of Moehrig or Holland, but I just couldn't see him falling anymore. They love their safeties and their tight ends, so they take one here in the back end of the second half. Not the biggest fan of Eric Stokes or what? I just keep getting them confused. Eric Stokes and the other Georgia corner, Tyson Campbell. I'm just not in love with their film or the way they play. That's why people have Stokes going top 25. Like 23, 24. And I'm just like, no way is this guy going in the top 50 picks. I'll take him here at 59. Decent value. Not the biggest fan. But they do need a corner. They do need corner competition. That's why I did draft him as well. You never know what you'll get. Aaron Robinson, a guy I hoped was a little bigger as well. But he can definitely play slot for them day one. Javonte Williams, you just need a big running back for a cheap 4-year contract. Get a back-end second-round running back. If he doesn't pan out, he doesn't pan out. You don't lose much. And the Green Bay needed a playmaker, Tylan Wallace. Big fan of him for the past 2 years as well. And then Landon Dickerson goes to the Chiefs, interior offensive line help. Definitely need offensive line help. And then Ronnie Perkins, a high riser. I'm not the biggest fan. I probably haven't watched the film I needed to watch on Ronnie Perkins. I forgot what game I watched. They're playing like a lower level D1 school. I forgot who they're playing. I gotta look it up. But Ronnie Perkins to round off my second round to the Bucks. I drafted Levi Onwuzurike, interior pass rusher, and you get an exterior pass rusher here. 2 luxury picks if they can re-sign everybody on offense. And to start off my third round, Richie Grant, just next best DB, keep him in the state. Quincy Roche, off-ball edge linebacker hybrid, who I think has potential to be a Pro Bowler before his rookie contract is up. So if he goes to a scheme like New York where they use 3-4 linebackers and don't always bring him, they could drop him into those flat zones. He has a chance to, really, really show off his fluidity. James Hudson, big fan of him. Not a lot of people know. I'm a James Hudson guy, really big, really solid tackle out of Cincinnati. He's just really solid all around, doesn't really excel much in any category. He's just really good all around, has inside flexibility. Serrat, quarterback turned linebacker. Atlanta needs an off-ball, pure Mike linebacker, and I think he could be it. Josh Myers, just next best interior offensive lineman. I feel like Cincinnati had like their entire offensive line is Ohio State players. Maybe that's just me. And the 70th, Davion Nixon, it's just next best interior. Fletcher Cox isn't getting any younger. Brandon Graham isn't getting much younger. You need interior pressure. And then Denver Broncos take Jabril Cox, nice, long, lanky, pure. I think he could play pure Mike, a little skinnier than I like, but I think that that's not a problem. Fluidity is not a problem. So he's just going to be a nice, fluid Mike linebacker. And Kelvin Joseph, high riser. It's just next best DB for competition. Ifeatu Melifanu, I didn't take him in Detroit because Ifeatu better fits Carolina's scheme. So if I was Carolina's coach, I would better take Ifeatu. But Carolina gets a steal here in the middle of the second. Is it the middle of the second round? Middle of the second round, 73rd overall out of Syracuse. Paulson Adebo out of Washington. Out of Stanford going to Washington football team. Adebo would have been a first rounder 2 years ago if he came out. Should have came out. Falls to the third. But no problem. He's going to come in and impact wherever you need him to. Dallas Cowboys take Deontay Brown, just next best offensive lineman. He can play tackle for sure, but I would rather kick Connor Williams back outside to left tackle if he needs to. And then New York takes another receiving playmaker, Seth Williams. Big fan, great size. He could be Julio Jones 2.0 if he could really refine his route running. He's already a great route runner, but if he could just really refine it and become an elite route runner at that size, definitely going to be a game changer. Nico Collins, I'm really high on. I just would not take him in the top 65 picks. I would not take him in the top 70 picks, no disrespect, but he has the potential because of the lack of play and the lack of targets he had at Michigan. But you just hope he doesn't turn out into Amar Darboh, who was drafted by the Seahawks in the second round, who I was a really big fan of. I thought he was the best receiver in that draft class in 2017, I think it was, or 18. No, maybe not the second best, but top 5 for sure. Oh, excuse me. But he's a guy, finally comes off. If he could really blossom in a passing scheme, in a vertical passing scheme like Los Angeles, definitely going to be 1,010 receiver, 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns every year if he can stay healthy and they use him to his full. Osa Odigizua, really high on my board. He just fell here to the third round because of needs, offensive line and receiver needs in front of him. But really good. Do not sleep on him. He will be a monster. 7, 8, 9, 10 sack guy every year. Pro Bowler every other year. He's going to have a long career if he can stay healthy. Michael Carter, it's just running back need. You just need a running back that can catch the ball. And Michael Carter is that. You want a guy that can stay on the field 3 downs if you want to go up tempo, and he could play all 3 downs at 110%. And I pick 80, Marlon Tupilotu out of USC. Not the defensive lineman you expected, but the one I took. A lot better, a lot more refined, and a little more athletic. Patrick Jones out of Pittsburgh has fallen far enough. I would definitely not take him top 50, but at 82 or 81, phenomenal value. And I think Miami had a monster draft if they have the picks that I take. Miami Dolphins, if these things play out accordingly, take the picks on my mock drafts. You will have a Super Bowl ring in the next 5 years. Guarantee you. If not, you could do whatever you want with me. Adrian Ely, offensive tackle out of Oklahoma. This next best tackle. Tutu Atwell, you need another playmaker at receiver. Yeah, I know it would be nice to get you a big body receiver, but you can find one in free agency. Shatarius Atwell, I call him Tutu, out of Louisville. Really small, really fluid. Tyson Campbell, not the biggest fan of him. A lot of people had him going in the first round just a month ago, but I see him realistically falling to the front end of the third. Not as far as he does now, but some team's going to fall in love with him and take him early. And Amari Rodgers, this is probably my favorite pick. He just fits that scheme. You need a slot receiver, you've got one. You need a running back in the backfield on third down, you've got one. You want a guy to return kicks and punts, you've got one. You want a guy that's going to block in the run game, you got one. He's going to do whatever he can to get onto the field. Kind of reminds me of a scrappy a scrappy player like a Doug Baldwin or a Julian Edelman. Just a scrappy slot receiver that's going to fight every play and fight like it's in play every play like it's his last play. Big fan of Mari Rogers. That body style of receiver is going to definitely come around in the NFL again. That smaller, more stout, thick, slot receiver that's going to go over the middle. Israel Mukamu out of South Carolina. I remember they upset Georgia a couple years, like 2 years ago, and he had like 3 interceptions and 1 pick six. And people were like, this dude's going to go in the first round. He's going to be like top 10. Yes, he's very good, but yes, he's very raw, and he's not as fluid as I hoped he was this year. Israel Mukamu is a big, nice press corner. Definitely has to hit the ladder and the cone drills a couple more times a week than he does now. I wheezed. And then Keith Taylor, just Washington at a corner, next best corner. Tall, long, lanky guy. Definitely can hold on his own. I just think he will get beat definitely in the jump ball game by bigger guys like Julio and DK, and even younger guys like Chase Claypool, Corey Davis, AJ Brown. Like those guys can definitely outbody him when the ball's in the air. And then Pete Werner, just next best linebacker. Jelani Tavai showed up this year pretty good, but it's only the second year. We'll see what he could do. J2 Fele, you just need interior pass rush. Sheldon Richardson and Olivier Vernon are not getting any younger as interior pass rushers. You need someone. J2 Fele, I think people think he's a space eater. I think he's more of a natural pass rusher. And I think you take him here at 89 overall. Minnesota Vikings, Javon Holland, he's fallen far enough. He's going to come in and start day 1 in the 3rd round. Baron Browning, nice downhill thumper. We'll see if he could get some playing time as a rookie. Demetric Felton, running back, receiver, playmaker, whatever you want to call him. Green Bay needs him, and Green Bay just got another one. Victor Dimukiji out of Duke, a nice pass rusher, not bad value in the 3rd. If you miss, you miss. If you hit, you get a really good, solid stud, just anchor at that 3-tech position. Amon-Ra St. Brown, it's just next best receiver to the Chiefs, luxury pick. Just go get what you want. Sage Serrat, receiver out of Wake Forest. I keep forgetting the other Serrat's brother name. Oh my gosh, I don't even know. Something Serrat. Sage Serrat. I forgot his name. But he's just another good receiver. He could play. He could be an oversized slot, or you could re-sign Goodwin and keep him in the slot, keep him outside as a 3rd or 4th option. It's just next best playmaker. And then Tommy Togai out of Ohio State, a guy I wish had a little more weight on him, can really be a presence at nose tackle, but goes to New England. Seems like a New England pick. Andre Cisco falls far enough, goes to LA. I think they do need competition in the DB room. And since he isn't so big at 6'3", you could definitely drop him down into the nickel and play him and have him compete with Chris Harris, who's aging not well at all. De'Ami Brown, an undersized physical receiver at 6'1", 195 pounds. He's a great jump ball guy. I like him when the ball's in the air. And I think he could really, really make an impact as a number 2 or 3 receiver coming into New Orleans right now. Number 99 overall, Jackson Carman. It's just next best tackle. Dallas needs it. Tennessee Titans, it's just next best DB. Benjamin St-Juste, a 6'3", 200-pound corner. Not bad. And then Janarius Robinson, they need some edge rush help, and I'm just going to pick a guy that was a sleeper pick in my top 50 big board. Janarius Robinson out of Florida State, about 6'6", 266, really tall, really long. He's more of a finesse guy at his size, despite being 265-plus pounds. But, yeah, he's a good finesse guy, great technician with his hands. He just has to be a little bit more consistent in the run game. And then maybe he might jump into the 2nd round conversation if he had that on film. Ben Cleveland, really high on him, really big dude. He can play tackle or guard. You just drafted Rashawn Slater in the 1st. Why not double dip? Double dip by going at it in the 3rd round. And then the Rams take another sleeper pick, quote unquote, reach with Alaric Jackson. Big fan of Alaric Jackson. Tenacious, plays through the whistle. Like him a lot. In the Baltimore, I couldn't resist giving him Jalen Darden, another undersized receiver with great agility, fluidity, and route running. Definitely is going to make an impact as a rookie. I could see him, hovering around 600, 700 yards and 8-9 touchdowns his rookie year. Definitely is going to make an impact. And then to end out my draft, Cameron Mcgrone out of Michigan. I know they just drafted a linebacker last year, Zach Bond out of Michigan, but they do it again in the third round, a more pure off-ball cover linebacker, Cameron Mcgrone. And then you could definitely be more free to working out a Demario Davis trade or release at the end of his contract. And that is my second and third round mock draft. I hope I didn't take too much of your time. If you guys haven't noticed, I've been linking my Anchor podcast link in the description as well. If you don't want to look at my face for 40 minutes to an hour. But, this is just something that I love doing. I want to do, I say this every video. I want to do this full time. This is what I love. I love football, love draft content, love evaluating players. But, definitely a like, share, and subscribe would help. Just doing this out of, the love of the game, I'm not expecting much back, but I would love some, feedback in the comments, or you could DM me on any of the Instagram posts I tagged. I have my personal and the 206 to 559 podcast, the official Instagram page, in the description as well. I'll also be linking my other podcast page, Rated R for Real, that I do with my brother Julian. We haven't done one in 2 months. We've got to get back on it. It's about to be 3 months actually since we've done a video, but definitely need to get that going again. That will all the Rated R for Real podcast link to the YouTube page and to the Instagram page will be down in the description below. Thank you guys so much for all of your feedback. That you guys give me. I've gotten a couple DMs, there's a couple comments here and there. But, really, it's just, I just like getting feedback. If you want to get on the video, DM me, comment down below. Comment down below if you want team-specific, mock drafts, trades, if you want, player rankings, sleeper players over hype players, anything you want. Just let me know what you want to see. Comment down below, DM me. Thanks for tuning in. There's going to be a couple more videos coming out later this week. Hopefully, y'all have a great week, and I'll catch you on the flip.